Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Modern Warfare 3. Season 3 for this game comes out tomorrow on April 3rd, and it's bringing with it a lot of content. We covered that in previous videos. We're talking like 6 multiplayer maps, 4 guns, new battle pass, new levels, new prestiges, new challenges, new perks, a whole bunch of stuff, right? It's probably the biggest update we've had in the Warzone era. Dare I say it's comparable to the old map packs that we used to get back in the day in terms of the sheer amount of content that is coming out with the game. All that being said, however, the hype has not really been there for Season 3's multiplayer. I mean, people are excited about Warzone because, of course, Rebirth Island is coming back, but, I mean, the comments to my video, where I covered all the news, all the updates, all the everything in regards to Season 3, all the comments basically looked like this. Imagine how well the game would be doing if they ditched the engagement-optimized matchmaking. What's that? Matchmaking is still the same, so nothing of value was added/changed. It's sad the extra effort from the devs is completely pointless with skill-based matchmaking in the game. Who cares with matchmaking being totally fucked? Modern Warfare 3 could be top 5 CODs of all time if it wasn't for the awful matchmaking, so on and so forth. Like, all the comments on my video were basically about that, and it's true, for sure. COD shoots himself in the foot with their matchmaking. That's nothing new. We've talked about that to death here on the channel. It's one of those things where skill-based matchmaking is so prevalent that it could be the topic of virtually every video I make, but I try to not make every single video about skill-based matchmaking. But I think the proof is in the pudding when it comes to the player count. We got that report from Charlie Intel recently saying that player counts are up for Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone as compared to Modern Warfare 2 last year. But looking at Steam charts, which is the only verifiable way we can look at any sort of player count, it looks like the player count has gone down consistently every single month since December, which makes a lot of sense. I mean, that's when the game first comes out. That's when the hype cycle is at its peak. And then January, February, March, you know, we're talking Seasons 1, Season 2, things like that. Things that aren't as crazy as the initial launch of the game. Well, with Season 3, they really seem to be trying, so it's definitely good news. Overall, it's good news. They're trying to add a lot more to the COD multiplayer experience. Typically, everything is all about Warzone, but getting 6 maps and then 4 guns, new perks, and things like that, like, it's going to shake up the Modern Warfare 3 multiplayer. It's going to make it more interesting for the people that are actually sticking around and playing, but for other people, they're just kind of done with Modern Warfare 3 already. I know a lot of people are, and myself, I'm not playing as much as I used to. That's for sure. I mean, I cover the news, I cover the updates, I cover everything, but I'll tell you what, man, after getting Interstellar, then going through Season 1, you know, halfway through Season 2, I just kind of got bored, if that makes any sense. Like, I don't really feel like I have much to really grind for or work towards within Modern Warfare 3. Basically, I just go in, I try to experience the new guns and the new maps, and then I have to deal with the matchmaking system, and then after like half an hour, maybe an hour of playing, I just feel tired. Does anyone else get that? Like, I'm like mentally exhausted dealing with the matchmaking in COD, and then I go play a more relaxed game. You know, I do like the weekly challenges. Having all that is fantastic. The camo reward for Season 2 is actually pretty good. The aftermarket parts are kind of hit or miss depending on which ones are good and which ones are bad, but having that stuff in the game is cool. I do enjoy that aspect of it, but then it really comes down to I play just enough to do the challenges and unlock the content, and then I don't ever actually want to play with the content because then I have to go deal with the matchmaking even more, which sometimes honestly is okay. Like, not every single match is as sweaty and crazy as humanly possible. Like, the other day I was playing my first match, every person on the other team was using an MCW or the Rival 9. Like, we're playing the Vortex playlist for crying out loud, and everybody is just slide canceling, bunny hopping around with the 2 best guns in the game like it's freaking ranked play. I literally just left. Like, I don't know about you guys, but like, stats have been thrown out the window for me in COD. I don't care anymore. Like, if I get into a lobby and the other team's really sweaty and my team isn't as sweaty as theirs, why sit there and fight it? I just leave, which is kind of funny because, again, they had that entire thing like, cooperate with your teammates, you'll win more games. Nobody actually cares about doing that anymore, Activision, and it's your fault. You're the reason why people don't care anymore, because they know the matchmaking is rigged against us. So at that point, if you get into a super sweaty lobby, just dip on out. And they're even talking about in their skill-based matchmaking blog post about how it's bad when people back out of lobbies, how it messes up the matchmaking and it ruins the experience for other players, which is why they put skill-based matchmaking in the first place. According to them, bad players don't like getting shit on, and therefore they leave the match, and that messes up everything, right? Well, what about like decent people? Like, what about above average players that are just tired of having to sweat every single game? We back out too. Where's the matchmaking algorithm for us? Because we're the people that are actually backing out more. Like, those lower skill players, they probably don't give a shit anymore because the matchmaking caters to them so heavily, so they're not the ones backing out. Nowadays, it's your above average to good players who are backing out of matches because the matchmaking is specifically designed designed to screw them over, right? Where's our matchmaking update? Where's our protected bracket, Activision? I don't see any of that stuff happening, but, you know, I back out of that super sweaty match, my very next match, which I used the footage of that in my last video, but my very next match, simple, easy as can be. They must have realized or something, like, man, he's going to keep backing out until he has some fun, so I guess we might as well put him into a normal lobby where he can run around with this goofy blueprint for the M4 and try and get footage for his video. Like, this match was super chill. The people on the other team weren't that good. The people on my team weren't that good. I mean, look at the score right here. Like, I have to carry him. We're barely even winning, and we end up losing. It was just ridiculous. But it just comes down to the fact that matchmaking does fundamentally affect everything within the Call of Duty multiplayer now. And when they make positive updates, like Season 3 appears to be, again, 6 maps, 3 guns, a melee weapon, new levels, new challenges, battle passes, all that crazy stuff, bringing back things like the akimbo models as an aftermarket part. Like, they're doing a lot with Season 3. They really are. But a lot of that just gets crushed by the matchmaking within COD, and a lot of the hype definitely gets crushed by the matchmaking in COD, to the point where I'm not even sure how many people are actually excited about Season 3, because they know, yes, there are new maps they may want to play on. There's going to be a couple of new guns, bringing back the Moores sniper rifle, for example, from Advanced Warfare. That's really cool for a lot of people. People enjoyed that gun back in the day, and it's a sledgehammer game, bringing back an old sledgehammer gun. Like, people are hyped for stuff like that, the Ball 27, but the matchmaking is going to fundamentally ruin it for a lot of those people. So down there in the comments, let me know, like, are you actually excited for Season 3? Are you going to play it? Or is it going to be like the comments in my last video where I covered Season 3 and people just don't even care? People aren't even going to really try it out. Because again, I can say from my experience, my playtime in COD has went off of a cliff pretty much ever since Season 2, like right before Season 2 Reloaded, pretty much. Like, I've stopped playing as much because I just don't have that drive to deal with the matchmaking anymore. Like, the prestige levels, they don't even matter. I'm like level 300. I didn't even make it to max level in Season 2. You know, I go and get Interstellar camo on the new DLC guns that I like. I don't do it for every single gun just to do it, because what's even the point? All this stuff goes away next year. You might as well just get the camos for the guns that you like for this year's game. So I always feel like I don't have much to actually grind for. You know, you do your weekly challenges and maybe go for your overall week 8 camo and things like that. But other than that, what are you really playing for? You have to have more things in the game for players to grind towards, because ultimately, if the only thing you're playing the game for is just to see if you can be the top person in that particular lobby, then your experience is going to be terrible, because of how skill-based matchmaking is deliberately designed to prevent you from doing that. It does feel good on occasion when you break through the algorithm and somehow you end up dominating that lobby even though all the cards were stacked against you. Occasionally that feels okay. Try doing that 5 matches in a row. It's mentally draining. It's not fun. And I'm just going to straight up say it. If they're going to keep skill-based matchmaking in the game, like, no matter what, if they're going to keep it the way that it is and forevermore it's going to be that way, then they need to add more things to the game to make it interesting while we deal with that, right? I mean, having the Interstellar grind is fantastic. Having the weekly challenges is fantastic, but we need more things to actually go for and grind for in COD. Once you've accomplished most of what you want to accomplish in the game, which can be done in like the first month of the game being out, for the rest of the year, you're waiting on new guns to come out, maybe a couple of new maps and things like that, but ultimately, you don't have anything more to work towards, anything more to look forward to, and then at that point, that's when the game really reveals itself. That's when you can really see how bad the matchmaking system is. And as a player, if the only way for you to engage with the game is to jump into domination and deal with skill-based matchmaking, that's not going to be a very fun experience, right? You have to have other things to work towards, other things to keep your mind off the fact that matchmaking is going to straight up screw you. I'm not defending skill-based matchmaking here. I'm saying if they're keeping it the way that it is, then there needs to be more things in the game for us, because otherwise all we focus on is the matchmaking, and that just makes people not want to play. Maybe I'm projecting here, maybe that's coming from my own personal experiences, but I'm sure the same is true for many of you out there, and that's why I wanted to make this video here today. But again, Season 3 does drop tomorrow. Rebirth Island is coming back, and expect many videos covering the new maps, the new guns, the new perks, basically everything with Season 3, so stay tuned for that. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video here today. If you did, consider dropping me a like. Thank you all so much for listening, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.